Hi, we're Eric and Rebecca Butler. We have two small kids and we've lived in Santa Paula for about 2 years. And this is our story about how Jesus Christ saved our lives.
So I grew up in a Christian home. I asked Jesus into my life at a very young age, and I did it over and over because I wasn't sure that I did it right the first time. So we were heavily involved in our church. We did a lot of mission work, and I really loved God growing up. And then when I was about 17, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and that just kind of sent me off the deep end. And I started partying, doing a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, and things got really bad.
For me, growing up in a family that was not God-centered and religion was not a priority, I didn't believe in God. I, in fact, struggled that the belief in God was real. I spent a lot of my youth, as most kids do, I played outside, I did a lot of sports, but I also found a fondness to art and to nature. And as I got older, I partied because there was nothing telling me that this was bad, and continued down that path. As I got older, I started to spend more and more time out in nature, whether it was hiking or camping, and realized that within nature there was seemingly a lot more going on. Just looking at the beauty of a sunset, the vastness of the cosmos, and understanding that there was depth to even the smallest things, that started me to believe in more that was happening in life, that these things weren't just accidental. And that began me down a path that started questioning, what really is going on here. And I spent some time looking into that, but more on a scientific, mathematical, and direct sort of viewpoint.
So for the next 14 years, things went from bad to much worse. I was partying all the time, drinking, doing drugs. I had become a full-blown addict and an alcoholic. And towards the end of that 14 years, I had moved on to the last stop at the station, heroin. And it was pretty hopeless. And at that point, my parents invited me to a healing service. And the man there told me that I would be healed.
I met Rebecca in 2015 and quickly got to know her family and started presenting a lot of my questions about creation and God to them, and got answers that were quite unique to me from what I thought a Christian would say. This helped me to realize that the person that I had thought of as the creator was in fact God, and allowed me to realize in that moment that I had been building a relationship with somebody and the wall dropped, and on the other side was Jesus. And that helped me to start really connecting the dots between being a non-believer and being a Christian.
So that night, I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and I had no desire for drugs or alcohol. I was healed, and I realized in that moment the power of the gospel, and that God would take someone back, even someone like me, and heal them completely.
Since accepting Christ into my life and devoting our life to Christ, our life has changed incredibly. It's no longer about us individually or even us as a family. It's about Christ, and always what can we do more to help other people find their way to Christ and to understand who He is, and just build a life upon that.
Since I experienced God's healing 3.5 years ago, everything has changed. I've realized that I have forgiveness, not only from God, but from my family and in my relationships. And the question is more what hasn't changed. It hasn't been perfect, but a lot of it has been pretty close. Somehow, even after growing up in a Christian home all those years, I was never baptized, and God had saved that for us to do together last year at Catalyst, which was a really special experience. So thanks for letting us share our story.